This might get weird.
Are we rolling?
We're rolling.
Well, then cheers, Grace Helbig.
Cheers, Mamrie Hart.
Hello, and welcome back to This Might Get Weird on a balmy Los Angeles day. I want to start using balmy more.
Yeah, nice.
Right?
Very sensual word. It's
Balmy.
like a sexy version of humid.
Oh, balls. That sounds like hand me them balls.
Hand me them balls.
Hey, ball me.
Okay.
All right, we're off to a great start.
A gray day here makes the brain go cray cray. I'm a little bit scattered today. When am I not scattered? But
It feels extra scattery. I don't know why.
I have a lot of little tasks that I was doing today, so it was one of those like ADD, like I'm going to do a little bit of this, then a little bit of this, and nothing gets actually finished. Everything gets started.
I mean, two things.
Yeah.
One, I feel like I have so many little tasks I can't get things going is how I've been for like 4 months with this book tour and other things with work. Two, you don't really hear ADD much anymore. You only hear ADHD.
Honestly, I had this thought the other day. Because I was sitting at my counter, I had like a half hour to cut. Like I was like, oh, let me be a content creator and sit down and perhaps write some ideas. I started to write ideas, and then a guy came to fix our AC, and then it all got thwarted. But I started to write like trad wife. What's a rhyming title that I could do to do like domestic home video type things? And I was like, ad wife, like ADD wife. But then I was like, why do people not say ADD anymore? And then I never looked it up because the guy showed up to fix our AC, and that's how far that creative thought got.
Yeah, because attention deficit disorder. What's ADHD?
Hyper deficit disorder.
So
attention, what is? Let's all find out.
Let's all Google ADD
because we love to categorize ourselves as
we
this
do.
now.
Also, if it's ADD, I think people are going to say ADD wife in their brain. They're not going to say ad wife.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder.
Okay, so like, are there still two separate categories? Or did it kind of just merge into that?
I don't know. And this is also interesting because I listened to my astrology for the week, and
You
there's
gotta tell us everything.
a lot for me about details not being clear and things not communicated clearly. So big caveat for this episode. Don't take anything I say as fact. Do your own research.
Well, here's the thing. If anyone is listening to this podcast and taking anything as fact, you got bigger problems.
Okay.
You got bigger problems. Half the comments are like, these episodes are just Mamrie being wrong and convincing Grace it's factual.
Yeah, I don't have enough processing power in real time to say, is that right? No, I just go with it.
Listen, you are naturally trusting and I am naturally too confident. So those combined, I'm basically like a preacher, but just about every thought I've ever had.
Okay. So here is the difference between ADD, ADHD.
Okay.
They refer to the same condition, but they have different historical origins and usage. ADD was introduced in the 80s to describe children who primarily exhibited inattentive symptoms. I feel like there's a lot of my fellow students in middle school that you're like, oh, those are the Ritalin kids.
The Ritalin kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Riddlers.
Yeah, they're getting their pills before school starts, and you know when they haven't.
Yeah.
They disrupt the
True.
class. And so, ADHD was introduced in 1994, relatively young. It's a millennial, to encompass a broader range of symptoms, including hyperactivity and impulsivity.
Well, okay.
In addition to inattention.
Okay.
So ADD emphasizes inattention as the primary symptom, while ADHD includes hyperactivity and impulsivity as well.
Then I'm leaning more that guy.
Well, ADD is now an outdated term, they're saying. Okay. So we're all learning.
All right. All right. Sounds good. We're learning. Speaking of learning.
Yeah.
Speaking of science. Speaking of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, you're wearing an I Need Space adorable sweatshirt, which means we absolutely have to talk about this lady mission that just went down.
Okay. I have questions about the specific mission, and then I
got no answers. I got only like, guesses.
I have a broader question then.
Oh, broad.
What is going on with Katy Perry?
I know.
Like what's our temperature on her and what she's doing in the world? Because I'm a little
Listen, I've been over it. Okay. Here's the thing. And even Chip said today, we talked about it, and he was like, man, she's really struggling with not being on top.
And it is triggering in a certain sense because as an entertainer and a performer, I'm like, do I come across that way?
No. Are you kidding me?
But I see a part of like this, like she used to have a lot of integrity around the campiness that she did.
Right.
You know, it was like pure camp.
Well, did she change or did the zeitgeist change?
Right. That's a great question. Chicken egg.
Like when you go back and look at it, because even when we were fans, I mean, we went to Vegas 3 years ago to see her live. We are not ashamed.
I will never not listen to that song Roar and not have absolutely fond memories of making Camp Dakota.
Well, Roar is intrinsically attached to
it's in my DNA
nostalgia specific memories for us. We listen to that song every single morning on the way to set.
Yeah.
But that song was still cringe.
Yes.
As was California Girls, as was Firework. It was just maybe because our millennial generation, when we were that age, we like embraced the cringe more.
Yeah.
And now she's trying to still connect with that age demographic. And they're like, oh, no. We don't like, I have said, and we've talked about like kids doing more garage band stuff. Like I'm excited that there are people in their 20s who want to play instruments. And things, you know what I mean? Even the pop star of it all, the Chapel and those people who are writing their own songs, or I mean, outside of Sabrina Carpenter's like campy vibe. Is Sabrina? Is she the new Katy Perry? Because she's pretty fucking cringe, if you ask me. Sorry, everyone turned off the podcast.
I know, they were like first ADD and now Sabrina Carpenter.
I'm just saying, it's like very much like, ooh, here's a sex move and whatnot.
I haven't really paid any attention to her.
Well, because it's big, overdone. It's like 1950s housewife vibes, which is what Katy Perry did for a lot of her career.
Like I'm a silly, sexy Barbie doll.
Yeah, I'm a fembot.
Yeah. Which was very
Who loves feminism.
Yeah, it was fun because she's like taking back control of the way that she's going to be sexualized regardless in this industry. So it had this like, feminist undertone message to it while also being just inherently silly. There was like a very silly aspect, and now the silly has switched to cringy.
I know.
And I just don't know what to make of it. And then she's going to space.
Well, okay, let me add one more thing on.
Yeah.
Well, two things.
Yeah.
One, you could absolutely see Sabrina Carpenter releasing a single called I Kissed a Girl. And I liked it. Like, that's what I'm saying, is they're like very similar.
Okay.
But then also, is it because the cheekiness? Okay, there might be riots. There might be riots in the streets.
All right.
Even posing this.
Okay.
Is because like now she's a mom and shit. You know what I mean?
To where she's cringe.
Well, now it's like she's doing all this stuff, and we're like, I think it's like you're a real grown up.
And well, she also like has this Republican
undertone.
Yeah. And like connection with people, and it's just like, and the Bezos of it all, that she's like,
does she have a Cybertruck?
Probably.
I think she does.
That's the thing that you would now like associate with her, that I'm like, oh, she's going down this pipeline that is, I'm not rooting for that. She's lost an edge.
I mean, when we went and saw her in Vegas, I remember she went on a little bit of a mask rant.
Yeah, that was, I had just smoked enough weed to not be able to fully follow, but I caught the gist that was like, we even walked out afterwards. We're like, does she not like masks? Is she an anti-vaxxer? What was that
she
message
had a full mask puppet?
Yeah,
and we're like, was like, get out of here. You've been here long enough. Go back to the trash, mask. And we were like, uh-oh, are we allowed to be fans anymore?
Right. That was like, this is an interesting thing that's in this show. Okay. I'm taken out a little bit because what?
And now she's going to space. She went to space.
Yeah. She said it was gonna give her a deeper connection and appreciation for the earth.
I know. She said, I think I'm gonna look down there and be like, that's mother. I must protect her.
Like, I think she's just saying things that she thinks the internet wants to hear. That people are gonna be like, yes, girl, slay. And it's like,
slay the boots down, house honey, mother,
house boots, slay, death drop,
planet mama.
Did you see that Wendy's,
Yes.
sweet, precious Wendy's, tweeted, "Can we send her back?" Oh my God. Whoa.
What beef? Literally, sorry to make a pun, but what beef does she have with Wendy's?
Where's the beef?
Was she a spokesperson for Hardee's? Like, what's happening?
I don't know, but I do feel like Wendy's somewhat has its, fingers on the pulse of our generations.
I guess so, but I feel like
they're like,
choose your battles. We've talked about before, cringe, but sometimes it really hits when brands battle each other on Twitter and TikTok. And like, sometimes it's like, come on, guys. Like,
because there's a 28-year-old like Gen Z millennial hybrid just sitting behind the desk doing all of these things.
But here's what I'm going to say. I feel like the Wendy's majority audience is probably, older.
You would assume?
I would think so. I don't know.
I mean, I think the younger audience who follows them on Twitter, who would see them tweet.
I feel like Wendy's crossed a line.
Really? Okay.
Not because they were, well, it was kind of mean, but also because like, we don't need your input on Katy Perry, Wendy's. If she was like breaking a world hamburger, if she was going to space in a hamburger shaped shuttle, then be like, leave her up there, whatever. Or like, we'd rather it had a square patty, but it was just like, now you're just picking battles that you don't need to be in, Wendy's.
Yeah, that was part of the discourse of people being like, I don't like when brands are just hopping on like the internet heat just to get like drafted off of what the way people feel about this person when it's not relevant to them as a brand.
Listen, y'all, I have a bad habit, okay? I will sign up for things that have an auto pay, and then I forget I ever signed up for them, and then I see a little charge come through on my phone, screen grab it, because I'm like, what the heck is that? I'll check it out later. I never do. I end up paying for things for months on end, sometimes a couple years, that I don't even use. Well, guess what? I found a good friend who has my back, who's going to find those unwanted subscriptions and cancel them for me. And that, my friends, is Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps you find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills so you can grow your savings. You can see all your subscriptions in one place. The first time I did this, it was really embarrassing. There was stuff on there that I might have subscribed to, kind of drunk one night, see one episode of, and never used it again. But this is a way to know exactly where your money is going. For ones you don't want anymore, Rocket Money can help you cancel them. Plus, Rocket Money will even try to negotiate lower bills for you. Maybe there's things you still want and use occasionally, but you're not ready to pay that price. Well, they automatically scan your bills to find opportunities to save. Then you can ask them to negotiate for you. They will be the muscle, okay? They're going to deal with the customer service, so you don't have to. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when they use all of the app's premium features. I sure know other things I would like to spend $740 on than some of these streaming apps I do not watch. So cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/TMGW today. That's rocketmoney.com/TMGW. rocketmoney.com/TMGW.
Craving your next action-packed adventure? Well, Audible delivers thrills of every kind on your command. From electrifying suspense and daring quests to spine-tingling horror and romance in far-off realms. Woo! Unleash your adventurous side with gripping titles that keep you guessing, exclusive, captivating Audible originals, hotly anticipated new releases, and must-listen bestsellers that hook you from the first minute. I love listening to audiobooks on Audible. You know this by now. Currently, I'm finishing Full Catastrophe Living by Jon Kabat-Zinn, all about mindfulness, meditation. I have just downloaded, and next up on my roster is Stolen Focus by Johan Hari. So you can see where my brain is at, and it is all over the place, and I am trying to get it centered and present. And thank you to Audible, because I do that in the car. I listen to my audiobooks when I'm alone in the car, and that's when I feel like I actually have my own full attention. But if you want something a little bit more exciting than all these books about mindfulness, you can try heart-pounding suspense, like the Audible original Mad Love, a fantasy romance adventure like Onyx Storm, or a listen with the lights on epic like Stephen King's latest Never Flinch, plus more big releases like Frida McFadden's The Tenant and Amelia Hart's The Sirens. Audible has over 1 million audiobooks, podcasts, and originals all in one easy app. So start listening and discover what's beyond the edge of your seat. New members can try Audible now, free for 30 days, and dive into a world of new thrills. Visit audible.com/TMGW or text TMGW to 500-500. Once again, that is audible.com/TMGW or text TMGW to 500-500.
Did you see Gayle King's face?
That's what I mean. Gayle King, this blew my mind because Gayle King is in the entertainment world, and one of the foundations of being on camera constantly is to put on a face that shows you are in control and everything around you is okay, regardless of whether it is.
I remember getting a pep talk the night before I did the Today Show, and I had just done Watch What Happens Live as the bartender, and like we filmed like additional content, like me and Andy filmed like a drink or something.
Yeah,
and my natural face, as you guys know, is I'm like, what are you doing? You know, like I banter, and I left that. I had a few drinks. And I remember my PR person, who I love dearly, being like, you looked pissed off at him. Tomorrow on the Today Show, I need you to not stop smiling to the point it feels weird.
Yeah.
And so like I always, whenever I watch any like morning programming or hosted stuff, I go, you will see them smiling for no reason the whole time.
I learned this from Rachel Ray.
Oh.
She said that, and if you watch old school 30-minute meals back in the day on Food Network, she is chopping and smiling and chopping and smiling. And that's the note she got, is that you look scared or upset if you're not smiling while you're doing very mundane things.
Right, because you're going to furrow your brow when you're like chopping and like trying to do stuff. So you have to go the complete opposite feeling you should and smile. So, and Gayle King did not put it on.
She was really feeling
She was scared.
Something. I don't know whether it was the Katy Perry of it all. I don't know whether it was the absolute insanity of what they were actually... What the fuck were they doing?
What was the fucking point?
Jeff Bezos just like jacking off visually for everyone to see. Like
have you seen any numbers of how much it cost?
To go to space, it costs like $200,000 to $300,000. I was just looking up before, according to a quick Googs, but who knows how that changes.
I feel like that's what you pay to go on one of those planes to lose stuff. I mean, I feel like since this was its own crazy ass launch and apparatus, wild. And let me say this, okay? 11 minutes they were in the air. Yeah. Never have I been more shocked at how small and something is since the anglerfish. I said 11 minutes. I thought they were going for like a week.
No. You think that they're going to send these people up in space for a week, like untrained?
No, but still, I figured they would have professionals with them, but for them to go up and come back down, it feels like when you like jump and touch the top of a door frame. Like they just got up there, said, "What up, space?" and came back down.
Because space is gross. So well, there was this
is that a Katy quote?
That is her new music that's coming out.
Space is gross, gaseous and gross, lacking oxygen. Space is gross.
I can see that happening. Yeah. There was a TikTok going around about a former astronaut, and she was like, you know, spilling all the tea about how like fecal matter gets trapped in space.
Wait,
like
what?
In the actual like, you know, vessel that you're in. That like when people fart, if people burp, it's in your... Things can't go in and out of the spacecraft. So it's just in the air with you. Imagine a plane, but fully sealed off. And so she's like, space is actually really gross when you have to stay up there for long periods of time, which is why those astronauts that recently were stranded had a not great time.
Listen, I was crop dusted on Sunday while watching the Masters at a brewery. And there are few things. I mean, I don't think this person seeked me out to fart en route to his seat, but someone let one go and I was in its trajectory.
Yeah.
I'm so grossed out by sitting in a stranger's fart.
A
fart of a loved one?
Elliot and I were
very different.
We were in an Uber recently and I had to text him to go, did you just fart? Because it reeked all of a sudden. And he didn't look at his phone until we got out of the Uber and he looked at it. He's like, no, it wasn't me. I was like, ow, well, even crazier.
Now we've just been sitting there breathing.
So imagine in space.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so.
And they were all nervous. You know, their tummies were crazy. You know, they were ripping farts.
Oh my God, 100%. So I did see also a video of Jeff Bezos inspecting, I guess, the vessel the day before, and he just ate shit next to it. I was like, that's pretty
amazing. Fun. No, I thought the whole thing was very silly, especially because, you know, the discourse of people saying, hey, the Trump administration is like cutting all these jobs. And like, there's so many female astronauts who've never been to space and now they're losing their jobs. So instead of like having them go to space to get to have achieved the thing they've worked for their whole life, being, you know, aerospace engineers and this and that, they're just sending up some celebrities who you look at Gayle King, looks like she didn't even want to go.
Yeah. It says the headlines are like, she conquered her fears going to space. Why? Who made her do that?
Yeah. Go on a tall building. You know what? Skydive. Why don't you skydive?
There you go.
That's scary. Bungee jump. Don't spend $1 billion for a PR stunt when no one even knows what the reason for it was. I can understand if it was like, no, I can't. I can't find a reason why this would make sense or be inspiring to anyone.
It doesn't.
I sound like such a bitch today. I'm sorry.
Hey, it's fine. I think you ripping on something Jeff Bezos is trying to do is totally warranted. Sending Katy Perry to space does not make me want to root for the funding of space travel, nor do I want to see myself going to space anytime soon.
You know what I loved? I would have loved if you taken that money and started and put it into a Science for Girls charity.
I'd love if Jeff Bezos just gave a few fucking $1 billion
to anything
other than his own bank account.
I absolutely agree. That said, my book is available for pre-order on Amazon and will be shipped out in just a couple days. So
there you go.
There you have it.
Or some of you might have it already.
Dude, I know. You guys are so sweet. There's a couple of you might be listening who got the book early, and apparently Barnes & Noble is it Barnes & Noble or Barnes & Nobles? I know
Barnes & Noble, I think.
Is it Nobles?
This is a day for fact checking. Barnes & Noble.
Okay.
Are those people? They must be people.
Yeah, but Barnes they must. But I just thought it was, hey, the Barnes family and the Nobles family.
I've never, ever thought about it.
Well, okay, here we go. But anyway, they notoriously send out books early. And so I got messages that were like, I got your book and I'm excited, but like, is this okay?
Yeah. Like they did something wrong.
Like a leaked album. And I'm like, no, you paid for it. It came early. That's awesome. So I'm so excited to see people hold it. The book tour starts in literally a week from tomorrow. I'm freaking out. I'm so excited. Everyone who's coming. Once again, I am telling you to buy tickets in San Francisco and Kansas City.
Hell yeah.
And Austin, there's still tickets, and it's me and Barbara Dunkelman, and Blue Owl Brewing is like giving out free beer, and we're just going to have a fun ass time at Book People. So it's not too late, you guys. Don't have FOMO.
That sounds so fun. And you're getting outfits made?
Dude, okay.
I'm so excited.
Dude, I spent so long on this company Spoonflower non-spond. I tried to get them to.
They do like wallpaper and stuff too, right?
Yeah, so
they do like everything.
I think they do on-demand printing.
Yes. Okay. Because I've looked at wallpaper hours on end because they have so many options.
So it'll be like, hey, here's the print. Do you want it in a shower curtain? Do you kind of like Society 6? Do you want it on wallpaper? Do you want it on a pillow? Do you want it just the fabric?
Yeah.
And which kind of fabric? There's so many kinds of fabric. But so I picked out like 5 prints and then was talking to Melissa, who costume design. And I was like, I want to get some custom stuff. Of course, I should have done this like a month ago, but things happen. She was like, oh, my friend is brilliant at this. Go. So I went to Highland Park. I went to this girl's place a couple days ago who had 2 tiny chihuahuas. One was toothless. His name was Maurice. Come on.
Well, that's a good sign.
I said, I'm in the right hands. And we went through these vintage patterns. She had this huge box of like really old patterns, you know, the paper thing. And she was like, oh, my mom was a seamstress. My grandma was a seamstress. Wow. These are my grandma's patterns. Wow. So like using patterns from the 1960s.
That's so cool.
And so we like took the patterns and based on what they were, but also what they looked like. So I have like a black-eyed pea dress, like literally a print of black-eyed peas. I have an okra dress. I have a radish skirt.
You don't have the band black-eyed peas.
I mean, truly, I know. I messaged Melissa and I go, and I love the black-eyed peas, don't you? She goes, I just short-circuited thinking you were asking me about the actual let's get it started in here. But so we'll see.
Fun.
But, you know, it's a race to the finish. It always freaking is.
Fun. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be wait. so cool.
Can we talk one more thing about, sorry, hit the button. I did it.
Whoa. Oh, God. That will continue to delight me.
Oh, I love it so much. But, okay. That's for things that are weird or confusing.
Yeah.
Well, this isn't what I was going to talk about, but now I'm wrapped in. So yesterday I did an interview for the book and it was in like over Zoom. And when it was like 9:15, the interview was at 9:30, right?
Yeah.
At like 9:17, I look stuff up and they were like, oh, be in the Zoom room 10 minutes early, which was like 2 minutes from then.
Yeah.
Since this is a live recording. And I had no idea I was doing live radio.
Were you?
It was WNYC. And I mean, it was fine. I hadn't showered because I specifically said like, is this on camera?
Yeah.
Or because there's nothing worse than like doing the whole doll up. And then you're like doll up. It takes like 4 seconds. And like literally.
I have really minimized exactly what I think is enough for me to put on to be presentable.
For example, I have on makeup right now. You would have no idea. But anyway, I was like, oh shit, this is like this is a big like New York radio station. They're doing interviews. And so I'm in the waiting room. Like they have me do it over my internet was weird. So they had me just like doing it into my phone. Yeah. I can hear the interview that's happening before me, which is Roy Choi, which is like a huge chef.
Yeah.
And so I'm hearing it and I just hadn't done that in so long.
Yeah.
And they took calls from the audience.
Whoa, this is full on Frasier radio.
Yes. This was crazy. So I'm talking, they're like, and once again, we are here with cookbook author Mamrie Hart. They probably did that like 10 times. I'm like sitting there. I'm like, oh, we're live. Ladies called in and like who calls into radio stations anymore?
I don't know.
It's a certain demographic and it's an older woman.
Yeah, I bet.
And so they'd be like, so she was like, and why don't you call in if you have any questions for Mamrie? If you just want to tell us about what's your favorite vegetarian dish to make? What have you been cooking up in your kitchen that's vegetarian? So a woman calls, like has nothing to say to me. And it's just like, I love making this lentil dish with leeks and it takes a while, but I get it from the garden. And I'm just sitting there being like, yes, Deborah. Oh, I was full delicious dishing. I was like, that sounds amazing. And then this woman calls and I was like, well, this is the perfect example of someone who listens to public radio.
Yeah.
She was like, my name is Jennifer. And every year for the Audubon Society, I think that's birds.
Okay.
I think it's birds.
It's definitely, I've heard it before, never thought critically about what it is.
Well, you should now with your eagle obsession.
I know. Oh, we work in the places where birds and people need it most.
Oh,
the National Audubon Society.
There we go.
Wow.
She goes, my name's Jennifer. And every year for the Audubon Society, I make a big vegan chili. And there's about 30 people. And I just wanted to call in and give you my tips for the vegan chili.
Oh my God.
I was like, Jennifer.
Now we're talking.
I was like, Jennifer, tell me everything. She was like, well, first of all, I add a little unsweetened cocoa and a little cinnamon. I go, oh, very mole. You're like,
wow.
I was like, let's go. And then I don't forget the second tip. And then I don't remember the second tip. And the third one was like, and I take a couple cups out of the big chili vat, puree it, and then put it back in so that it gives it like a nice creaminess. And I was like, Jennifer, that is a great tip.
Wow.
But I was just like, I'm living my best life.
Yeah.
I'm talking to Jennifer making vegetarian chili for the Audubon Society on public radio. I was built for this.
Little does she know, we've talked at length about chili on this podcast.
I love chili.
Wow. I love this like pivot for you.
Oh my God. I just need to figure out how to keep going.
But it's very fun.
Oh my God.
How exciting.
Yeah. So that was like, it was like a soothing morning when I was stressed 2 seconds earlier.
That's so nice. I mean, should we have a call-in aspect of this show?
Well, some people do. Well, we've done it before on bonus podcasts where we have people, whether it was for like advice or whatnot, and we're like, keep it under a minute.
Yeah,
because some people will ramble. But we've had it before where we go, write us a question or send us like a 30-second voice note and we'll play that.
Why don't you guys let us know if you'd like us to include that at like the end of our podcast, we answer a question or talk or listen to a question from a listener.
A question from a listener? Oh my God.
That could be very fun.
I think we should do it.
Okay, then if you have a question for us, you can email us at
tmgwpodcast@gmail.com. Send us a voice note, but keep it like 20 seconds.
And if you send us an email, give us like a little summary in the title of the email, short and sweet.
There we go.
That'll be, we'll
wait, short and sweet's going to be the name of the segment because that's the name of the album of Sabrina Carpenter, who I was just.
Shit. Okay. Well, we'll fine tune it a little bit.
Did you know that when your metabolism is working properly, you will feel the benefits in literally every aspect of your life? I have found a valuable tool that gives me insight to create a healthy metabolism for my body, and it is called Lumen. Okay, it feels like magic. The first time I got it, I said, holy smokes, you mean I can figure this out without having to like prick myself with a little needle or anything crazy? It's so easy. All you have to do is breathe. Lumen is the world's first handheld metabolic coach. It's a device that measures your metabolism through your breath. And on the app, it lets you know if you're burning fat or carbs and gives you tailored guidance to improve your nutrition, workout, sleep, and even stress management. All you got to do, literally, is breathe. Sometimes when I use my Lumen, it's the deepest I've breathed all day, okay? I feel like I'm meditating compared to the rest of the day. You use it first thing in the morning and you'll know what's going on in there. What's happening with your metabolism? Are you burning mostly fats or carbs? Which, lets you know what you should be doing with your diet that day. Then Lumen gives you a personalized nutrition plan for that day based on your measurements. You can also breathe into it before or after your workouts and meals, so you know exactly what's going on in your body in real time. And Lumen will give you tips to keep you on top of your health game. I'm telling you, it is a game changer because your metabolism is at the center of everything your body does. Optimal metabolic health translates to a bunch of benefits, okay? It's not just weight management. It improves your energy levels, better fitness results, better sleep. Hello, I'm trying to get it. The warmer months are coming, so spring back into your health and fitness and go to lumen.me/TMGW to get 15% off your Lumen. That is lumen.me/TMGW for 15% off your purchase. Thank you, Lumen, for sponsoring this episode.
Okay, vacation season is nearly upon us, and this year you better treat yourself to some luxe upgrades. We all deserve them, and that's why Quince is here with high-quality travel essentials at fair prices. Yeah, it's my Quince redemption ad read, and I am more of a Quince girl than ever. Like, they got lightweight European linen styles from $30, washable silk tops, and comfy lounge sets with premium luggage options and stylish tote bags to carry it all off. And the best part is that all Quince's items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. By partnering directly with top factories, Quince cuts out the cost of the middleman and passes the savings on to us. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes, which I love because I love Quince's stuff. It is really great quality. I bought a blanket, a velvet burnt orange, and it's just so luxurious on our bed. I also got this like Sherpa cropped black jacket from them that it's so cool for travel because it's got a hood that zips off. And oh, I love multifunctional items. So for your next trip, treat yourself to the luxe upgrades you deserve from Quince. Go to quince.com/TMGW for 365-day returns plus free shipping on your order. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/TMGW to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/TMGW. I gotta say, I did something a little out of my wheelhouse. I did a show by myself last week.
Yes, you did. Tell us everything.
Oh my God, Phoenix. Thank you so much, first of all, for being the most lovely audience. It didn't hit me until the night before that I was like, oh my God, I'm doing this by myself.
You know why? It's the dry heat.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought the dry heat might make them a little rambunctious or a little edgy, but
they're living in a sauna.
Everyone was so awesome. The audience was so warm, which was great because we had big tech issues the whole time. I do a PowerPoint presentation, and 10 minutes before, these two tech guys came backstage to the green room, and one was being trained by the tech guy, and they look like the most quintessential tech people, long gelled hair, black
in that heat.
Yeah, I kept thinking that he just got a shower and it was going to dry, but the entire time it stayed the same. I was like, okay, this is purposeful.
This is that Kim Kardashian red carpet where they look like they're wet.
Yes, they were so nice. But my PowerPoint stopped working 10 minutes before, and they just came backstage. They were like, we can't get your computer to work. And they had
no ideas.
They had no real
urgency,
problem solving ideas to add to the mix. So Elliot and I were running around like crazy trying to figure it out. And I'm in full flooded panic of I can't critically think about any way to solve this right now.
No.
But it ended up being a bit in the show. And the audience was so sweet and so supportive of it that it made it just easy to handle. Shocked actually at how I didn't feel totally flustered. I think it was due in part to how sweet and warm the audience was.
Also, because this show, when we do our live show, if something fucks up or whatnot, we do a lot of improvising and stuff with the audience. But I feel there's no visuals on yours besides one photo I think of that would make or break it. I feel it's icing.
Everything else is just little beats to help me stay on track with what I'm saying. And then also to just add some music here and there.
You're such a little beatnik right now.
Also, I'm thinking I got really down a wormhole of EDM TikTok the other day that I was should I get into EDM? That might be on the horizon for Helbig.
Let me tell you something real quick. Chip would love it. Second of all, on this coming Saturday, I was I want to do nothing the weekend before book tour. I got to relax. He got us Darude tickets to go see Sandstorm.
What?
Do you guys want to go? Get tickets.
Yes, 100%.
We're going to Darude on Saturday.
Elliot sent me this from Chip's story saying this would be fun. Okay, I got to make a note to do that. Yes, because I just went down a wormhole where Skrillex just performed after 10 years away at what is it called? Something Ultra in Miami.
Yeah.
And I watched 7,000 TikToks of his performance down there. And I was like, man, I really love Beat Saber. And so it would make sense to just sort of turn into this kind of music right now.
The Beat Saber to EDM pipeline.
Direct. It's just a door that you open next door.
Wow, Chip is going to be stoked.
Because I really got into I don't know if they're called Atlians or ATLians, which...
from Atlanta? That's what Outkast calls themselves, the ATLians.
So there's it's not them. There's a lawsuit pending, I guess, for that specific reason. But they're the ones that dropped that Creed remix that everyone was losing their mind over. And so then I watched the actual video of their set here in LA where they debuted that Creed remix bit. And I just started getting really into EDM.
Listen.
And I was like, maybe this is because everyone at these shows is all about that plur, peace, love, unity, respect.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Yeah. And so everyone's trading bracelets and it's all about love and community and that sort of thing, which is not.
Chip doesn't partake in that.
Chip's get the fuck away from me.
He said, plur. Get on out of here.
But yeah, I would love to go
do it.
I gotta make a note to myself to look that up because
Chip was like, we're gonna go see Sandstorm live, and I was like, well, tell that to my freshman in college Mamrie, who would we would go to a 18 and up club called Metro, and I would drink a blue fish bowl and dance to Sandstorm.
Oh yeah, I feel like we used to sing it on the tennis bus, but it would be like everyone going do 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 do.
You know, that might be the only song I wouldn't be annoyed for an a cappella group to do.
Yeah. Can we get Pentatonics together
to do Sandstorm
if they haven't already?
Okay, you should do it. Also, when we were at Coachella last year, which by the way, how was that not 3 years ago?
You were at Coachella last year?
Not Coachella.
I was like, what?
Bonnaroo.
I was like,
Bonnaroo.
There's no world in which you or I have been to Coachella.
No, but I will say this. Mm-hmm. This is the first Coachella since Baychella with the marching band that I got a little FOMO. I've never been to Coachella, but I was like, I would have Meg Thee Stallion, Missy Elliott.
T-Pain.
Well, T-Pain, but mine was, I didn't go to the Brat tour. Mm-hmm. I would have loved to seen the Brat tour. She brought out everybody.
Yeah.
And Missy Elliott, who they did not go crazy enough for. Meg Thee Stallion was one of the best performances I've ever seen at Bonnaroo, and she brought out Queen Latifah and Sierra. Sierra, 1-2 Step.
Amazing.
Was the first ringtone I downloaded.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hell
on a fucking flip phone in 2001.
Yes.
I loved it. But Bonnaroo feels like it was 90 years ago. And it was not. It was 10 months ago.
That's so crazy.
Isn't that insane? But when we were there, we specifically went to go see Fred again.
Yeah.
Who's a DJ. Right. And he's wonderful. I feel like you'd love Fred again.
I probably would. I got to get into it because I've been getting served a lot through my algorithm remixes of songs from the 60s and 70s remix into EDM music. And I'm like, I love this. This is the cross section that really hits for me. You know who else was at Coachella? Bernie Sanders.
I know.
I mean, all of the hits were there. It's, a bit of a bummer, but I also heard that all of the getting to things sucked for everyone.
It's always, unless you're there with a brand,
right?
And you're being paid to be there, and they go, "Hey, don't worry, we're gonna have a luxury coach bus for you to if on and off." The same way when we went to Bonnaroo, I was like, we got hooked up massively, and I literally was taking a bus to backstage from my hotel.
Crazy.
I don't think I could do a regular festival after that. It was like my first meal was Michelin star.
Yeah.
But the algorithm I have fallen into from Coachella is it's so catty. I need to get out of this algorithm.
Why?
But it's just people judging each other's Coachella looks. And everyone being like, is it a recession indicator that everyone's outfits fucking sucked?
Whoa, the girlies are turning on each other?
They're turning on each other.
Oh, no. Not the girlies tearing down the girlies.
It's kind of fun to watch at 1 a.m. while your boyfriend is snoring.
I bet. I'm in the DH gate, all the manufacturers from China.
Okay, is this real?
Yeah.
Okay, should we buy some stuff? What's happening?
As far as I understand, China is going, no, we're not going to settle for your tariff situation. And they're exposing all of these luxury brands for all of the manufacturing warehouses that they operate out of or order their product from. And it's like,
they're exposing the markup.
It's all the same materials, all the same craftsmanship. It's just these warehouses don't put the logos or brand whatever on them.
They send them to the house of whatever and they
Chanel
put the logo
or whatever. Like Birkin bags cost $38,000, but really the manufacturer, you can get them $1,600 from there. Same exact craftsmanship, same exact materials. I guess they're showing that laundry pods, you could get for $18 a year's worth of laundry pods when that's one thing container for a month. Yeah. And so now these people are just exposing all of the different manufacturers that Zara works with this manufacturer, Chanel works here, Lancome works here. And they're showing people, I guess, the ways in which they can order directly from these manufacturers to avoid the tariffs or the luxury markups. And it's just really exposing the way that we as people and consumers get duped for the sake of the name brand.
For the logo.
Yeah. That it's you're buying the concept of this thing.
Are you going to buy anything?
No.
Okay.
Because I don't even shop luxury in my everyday life.
There's never been a luxury item that I've coveted.
Same. I'm not a bag person. I'm not a clothes person, shoes or whatever. The only thing, laundry pods for cheap sounded interesting.
Yeah, we'd love that. But I also don't want like a fucking dump truck full of laundry pods to show up at my house to get a year's worth.
That much plastic in my home. But it's very interesting to watch the way that they're exposing all of this. And I don't know what kind of effect it's going to have, because I feel like it won't change the way that people buy luxury brands. They're going to buy it anyway, because people that have that much money they want to be connected to the brand. It's the idea of what the brand represents.
No one who wants a Birkin is going to go, hey, check out my Birkin without the Birkin tassel.
Right.
They want the whole thing. I will tell you one thing.
Yeah.
Real happy my books came in before the tariffs.
I was going to say.
Because obviously cookbooks are printed in China.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if they would have been twice the cost.
Yeah.
They would have been like $75.
More reason to get them now.
Listen, all I think about is food.com. Go get your book. Go get your ticket to one of the events. It's going to be so much fun. But I really feel, not to be like, take it to a side way, but I just really feel for small businesses who like, that is that is just where they get their things, and that's how they afford to do them. And now, did you hear? I mean, I could go off on this. You know what I mean? Is he done yet? I hate that. Oh, yeah.
Granny rant.
We're gonna go
Granny
there.
rant. Granny rant. We got a problem with something.
I was only going to say fuck Trump.
Well, that in and of itself is a granny rant.
I didn't have much more to add. However, I feel like Cladoris and Margaret Cho, our aunts, need to go to a Bernie rally.
Oh, God. They'd love it. Elliot went.
They'd be like, oh, my number one crush.
Oh, they'd be swimming. They'd have to wear.
Depends.
Truly.
Thicker ones than normal.
Elliot went to the Bernie rally.
Oh, yeah.
He is so sunburned. It is so funny because.
Sunburny?
So he got sunburny. He and Joe Beretta went, and they went early, and then they ended up standing for hours outside. And he's a Florida boy, but did not think to put sunscreen on. So I've never seen him this sunburnt in his life, which is like, I would be in the hospital if I had the level of sunburn he has, but his body just absorbs it, and he's like tan now.
Bernie Sanders, more like sunburny. AOC, I could use some AC.
There you go.
Oh!
There you go. Cladoris is with us.
We got there. Hey, listen, I'm done.
Been how my social battery has been operating. Like Elliot and I were traveling to do this show, and we were like, we haven't traveled with just us, and we left Brock with my stepbrother, and it went really well, and it was like our whole big thing. So we were like, ooh, we're traveling and we're making it a little vacation for us. We got to the hotel, and I just shut down complete. It was like, so you're done. I was like, I am done.
I'm absolutely. Also, because I've been doing more other people's podcasts to promote the book and a lot more interaction, that I'm just like, I gotta save something.
Yeah.
Something for the grace.
Yeah.
For the grace of God. But guys, we love ya.
Yes. By the way, if you want to come see Let Me Get This On My Chest.
Yeah.
I'll be in Irvine in a month on May 15th. And then also there's still tickets available for St. Louis is like half sold, which is awesome.
Get in there.
June 27th, and then July 7th is Atlanta. So get your tickets,
so fun.
y'all.
I've already guilt tripped San Francisco and Kansas City. Also, San Francisco, can I just say, and this will be the last thing I say.
Yeah.
If you don't come, you're losing money. And here's why. Because you're going to get a signed copy of the book that I forgot to charge tax for. So that's on me, baby.
Hell yeah.
I got the tax.
She tariffed herself.
I realized I did that for the 3 stops that I made the events price for.
Perfect.
So, we're out of pocket tax for the tax mama.
Nice.
You're getting that's $30. You're getting $10 towards Muttville. You're getting a $10 mimosa. And then 21 Seeds came on, tequila brand. They're going to buy everyone a margarita. The margaritas there are $15.
Shit.
So you are getting so much for your little ticket.
You're making money.
You're just going to come hang out with me. That's all it is. We're playing music. Yeah. We're signing books. We're having margaritas. We're just having a good time to raise money for some dogs.
Hell yeah.
It's going to be great. And then I was just also going to say that there are a few tickets left for Portland, the after party. So that is you buy your book from Powell's. You can come to that event if you'd like. And then you upload your receipt. There's a little link to it. It's very, very easy. And we're making like 3 drinks from the cookbook there. And I have like this cool charm girl coming. You can make your own charm bracelet and stuff.
Cute.
I love it. I made one last time I went to Portland. She made a limited amount of tiny charms of my cookbook.
Oh my God, that's cute.
How cute is that?
That is going to be cute.
Cute.
Also, I just looked up a photo of Darude.
Yeah, what he looks like
Is
a normal
this
white
him?
guy, right?
Is that him?
Yeah, but I don't think he still has that flavor
Cum
saver, as they
catcher?
call it.
Yeah. And that's straight up cum catcher. That is a landing strip right down the
That's a
middle.
landing drip.
Yeah. Sorry to interrupt
Wow.
the cookbook talk.
No, it couldn't be better. Oh, well, I'm just going to do it. This got weird.
Yep.